Alright, so if I'm gonna sleep 6 hours tonight, I gotta be in bed in 15 minutes. My stomach is full of pie and cider. Let's do this. Hi, I'm Oliver. This is Chaotic Bibliophile. Today I'm going to tell you about books that I bought during a recent day trip to Hastings. I'd never been in Hastings. It's a seaside town in, I want to say the south. Pretty sure it's the south. It was really fun. It was funny because the weather was shit and everything was closed because it was a Wednesday. And even though we're technically in spring, it doesn't feel like spring at all. In spite of that, I had an amazing time. I just love hopping on the train and just going to places that I've never been before, having some food, drinking some pints, going to the bookshops, buying books. So I have 6 books to tell you about, which is one too many. I usually allow myself 1 book per bookshop. However, the place where I bought 2 books was a secondhand place and the books were really cheap. So let's start with those, although that was a horrible idea because they were at the bottom of the pile. This is chaos. I bought Reading Lolita in Tehran by Azar Nafisi, a memoir in books. I love this edition. It's floppy, it has decal edges, but it's not like ridiculously floppy. It just feels good in my hand. It has good margins and a good typeface, so I'm really excited. I recently had to read her most recent book for the Booktube Prize, and though I have thoughts about that book, I can't tell you about them right now. I will just say that I'm really excited to read this because it's a big classic. It's basically about how her, being a teacher in Tehran, decided to start a book club to, I think, avoid censorship, or she felt that she had become so restricted in her curriculum that she wanted sort of to read literature and engage with literature under different circumstances. So she invited these women to start this book club / classes, and it's supposed to be great. I have really high hopes. And I also bought The Orchard Keeper by Cormac McCarthy. I have been craving Cormac McCarthy so much, but I owned The Road and All the Pretty Horses back in Santiago, and I was waiting for No Country for Old Men to come into my bookshop, but for some stock reasons it hasn't arrived yet. So I was looking for it during this trip, and instead I found this lovely copy. It was a library copy because it's like laminated and it's really nice, I think. Or maybe it wasn't. Whoever bought it though has the same idea as me and wrote that they bought it in December 1996, so that's always exciting. This is about a boy who works in a farm, and it's really close to this adult that runs the farm. I don't know if they're related or not, but there's a friendship there, like mentorship going on. However, the secret is, and this is not a spoiler because it's on the back, I hope it's not a spoiler, I haven't read it yet, the guy killed the boy's father. So really looking forward to this. It's Cormac McCarthy's first novel and it's not one of his most widely read, but I am really curious because this is the novel that I wouldn't say first put him on the map, but based on his novel, he kept getting more novel deals. So curious. Okay, I then went to the Hastings bookshop. This is not in the right order, but whatever. And got The Ninth Building by Jinzhi, translated by Jeremy Tiann. And I got this because it's nominated for the Booker International. And if you've watched my most recent video, link down below, I need the eye as always, I have vowed to read the long list for the Booker International this year because I just think it sounds really, really interesting and I'm really keen. I've read 2 books so far. One I absolutely adored and the other I thought was really good. So I just want to keep the momentum. So this is the book that I'm going to pick up after the book I'm reading now, which I'll show you in a moment. But yeah, this is a collection of vignettes about the Chinese Cultural Revolution. I know a little bit of that period because I took a short course on literature from that period. So I am really interested in seeing just what this is. It is interesting though, because this is alternatively referred to as autofiction or almost non-fiction that was repackaged as fiction. We will see. But yeah, vignettes, observations, political commentary. I read the first page and it's all about sort of art and intellectualism in art and how helpful that is in the face of political conflict. Really keen to keep reading. And the other book that I bought, and this I just bought at Waterstones, but I was really pleased because it was really cheap because I had accumulated stamps on my card. This is Whale by Myeong-Kwan, and this is translated from the Korean by Cheon Kim. I'm not sure what this is about because even in the blurb it's a bit confusing. I know it's about 3 different characters and their intersecting lives. Presumably it has to do with a cinema. Oh, there is a whale that crashed in the ocean. So yeah, I'm really excited for this as well. I'm sorry I don't know more. Then at Albion Books, I got An Anthropologist on Mars by Oliver Sacks. This lovely, lovely old copy by Picador, and it was only £2. And I don't know, I've seen newer copies of this book and they are not as nice. So I'm excited about this one. And finally, the book I'm currently reading is A Far Cry from Kensington by Muriel, introduced by Alice Smith. And I'm reading the introduction afterwards, but I'm really looking forward to it because I love Alice Smith. And this is one of those hardcovers, Virago editions. I go back and forth with these sort of abstract hardcovers, but there was something about this design in particular that really spoke to me. And I read the first few pages and I couldn't put it down, which is usually the effect that Muriel Spark has on me. I read only 3 of her books. She's very prolific, and I also would really like to read her essays. But anyways, this is about this former editor reminiscing about this one event in her life that got her fired, which was basically insulting an author. And it's so much about class and work politics and art politics and publishing politics, of course, and money and propriety and friendship. It is so interesting. Muriel Spark was the real deal, and I want to read everything she ever wrote. So that was it. Those are the books that I bought. I am concerned about how this will add to my pile. However, as I said, when I travel, I always budget for books, and I usually allow myself 1 book per bookshop. I almost fulfilled that. It was £2. It was £2. It was the Cormac McCarthy book that I couldn't believe. I couldn't decide between the Lolita in Tehran and the Cormac McCarthy book. So I'm sorry. Anyways, have you read any of these books? Are you planning on reading any of these books? All comments can go down below. Also, have you bought any books recently that are interesting? That's it. See you next time.